My name is Dr. Sheila Dugan, and welcome to Thrive Alive Presents. The Westside Walk for Wellness got started as the brainchild of a medical student, Kristen Obiakor, who was looking at health inequities in Chicago, especially something called the death gap, where there's a difference in longevity if you live in Garfield Park, say, compared to Lincoln Park. And she wanted to do something in the community. And in our group here at Rush Preventive Medicine, we were working with pastors, kind of the beginning of the Alive Faith Network. And so the first year we decided to walk from New Mount Pilgrim Church to the Garfield Park. So it was really bringing together the students' interest, Rush's interest in health equity, and then this work that we were doing with pastors. And after all those rocky roads, we decided the next year, let's just start from the park and finish at the park. I would say that the Westside Walk for Wellness addresses becoming more physically active because that's so applicable, important if you have diabetes, hypertension. The literature on walking is incredible. In pregnancy, for a safer pregnancy, to do some low exercise walking. Cancer, either prevention or once you have cancer, preventing the recurrence of cancer. But certainly when it comes to, let's say, your hemoglobin A1C, if you have diabetes, walking has been shown in many studies to be helpful for that, as well as if you have high blood pressure or hypertension, walking is really helpful for that as well. I think early on when we decided to have the walk, we decided to showcase folks at Rush that do work who are people of color or people that are underrepresented. So if you look at our population in Chicago as an example, and you look at our medical student class, there are more Caucasians or white students than there are relatives to what percent of the population of Chicago. So one of our specific goals was to have people participating, young and old, seeing people that might look more like them, talking about their work on depression or their work on cancer. So that's another specific reason that we are in the community doing the walk, is to kind of showcase that you have some incredible knowledge because you live in the neighborhood that may help us really change health inequities. Because if the people working on it don't know all the local issues, then they're not going to be able to make such a big impact.
I'm Stephanie Ogando. I'm a first-year medical student at Rush Medical College. So the theme for this year's walk is going to be mental health, and we're going to be looking into the intersectionality of mental health and daily life. So a lot of the themes for the talks that we'll be doing over the course of the 7 weeks will include mental health and race and ethnicity, mental health and stigma, mental health and gender, mental health and lifestyle, exercise, so on and so forth. The first and last walk will be in person, so it'll be a great time to get together with the community and actually be together in person. And then post-COVID, we've adapted a hybrid model. And so the middle 5 weeks will be walks virtually done via Zoom, so people can join in from all over. Our first walk is going to be July 13th. And in terms of registration, we're hoping to be able to enter the community and put up some flyers. And on those flyers, there will be links available. We also have a Facebook page where people can go to and sign up there.
My name is Oriana Morris, and I'm a former Westside Walk for Wellness student leader and now a first-year medicine and pediatrics resident. In medical school, we learned, more about the death gap, right? The difference in survival or lifespan for people who have more privilege versus those who are underserved and without as much privilege. So illnesses that might normally be managed and, allow someone to live a full, long life in one population results in earlier death, more morbidity and mortality in populations with less access to healthcare. And one of my colleagues, Dr. Kristen Obiakor, who has now since gone on and graduated residency, had this idea back when she was a medical student. And it really resonated with me as well as someone who came into medicine to help reduce that gap, right? And ensure there's more equity in health. And one of the neighborhoods that Rush works with is Garfield, like the West Side. So Rush has a lot of activity going on in the West Side of Chicago. And she wanted to focus there. And I kind of wanted to join in that effort to raise awareness about different illnesses, about the prevalence, about screenings and things like that, and hopefully get people moving and establishing some healthy habits that they can carry forth with them. In addition to the value of the physical exercise of walking, not only is it beneficial for our bodies, but also for our minds. And in addition to that, the Westside Walk for Wellness offers so many opportunities to learn about women's health, men's health, various topics that change from year to year, this year being a focus on mental health. All of us can benefit from that. And definitely after experiences like COVID, mental health has definitely been highlighted a lot in medicine. And so this is something that can benefit everyone and benefit families from top to bottom. This walk is important to me as an opportunity, especially as when I was a medical student as well, to get to know the community, to feel like I was making an impact in the community, and also just as a Black woman, kind of, especially as someone in medicine who the patients can identify with. It was important to me to be present and to be one of those voices encouraging them to get those screenings or encouraging them to walk. Just even in clinic this past week, I've had at least 4 patients tell me that they were happy to see me just because I'm a Black person who, when they walk into the office, they, automatically feel like there's a certain level of understanding that they're already met with before they begin to speak, or being able to talk to a mom and say, hey, this is why the HPV vaccine is important in getting her to bring her other 3 kids in addition to helping her understand the value of the HPV vaccine. Like, that is why this walk is important to me, because it truly does make a difference to see people who look like you in medicine and to be encouraged by those people as well, because there's just so much distrust, and I think it goes a long way to be there. The walk to wellness versus the walk for wellness, I think it definitely has 2 different feels to it, because there's a lot of resilience within the Black community, right? We, come with our own traditions and cultures and things like that, that we feel is our wellness. And given the history that we had no choice but to create a sense of wellness despite what is happening around us. And so I think it's important to acknowledge and appreciate what already is there and to lift up and build upon, those, like what's already existing in the community. And I think that's something that the walk does too.
My name is Nerese Martin. I am a rising 3rd-year medical student at Rush Medical College. So one of the main things that motivated me to start med school, to go into medicine, was the disparity in health education and healthcare access, especially coming from a background where most of my family is from like inner city environments and usually has like a lot of disparity that they've faced themselves in access to healthcare or treatment by their physicians or understanding communication barriers. It was very important to me to be involved in the community, in the city, working with populations that tend to face those barriers. So the student lead the year before me is a friend of mine, Clavon Webb, and she just needed help volunteering with volunteers for the Westside Walk for Wellness. And I was very intrigued by the whole project, by how very involved she was in the community, how much it connected her to the community, to the Chicago area. And so we started talking about it, and she introduced me to Dr. Dugan, and the rest was history. So we talk a lot about cardiovascular health, so like our heart, our like hypertension or high blood pressure, and high cholesterol. We talk a lot about that, with being a huge benefit from walking on a regular basis, on how that lowers the intensity of a lot of these illnesses as well as the occurrence of them. In addition, walking is really great for mental health, to get sunlight, fresh air, exercise going every single day. And even like we often talk about these for adults, but even for our children, it's really important to start those healthy habits early. So when participating in the walk, we have a lot of families that come with their children in strollers, with like little toddlers that'll run ahead. So it's really a whole family sort of event that can occur. The great thing about the walk is not only is it focused on improving health, but also on improving our connection in the community. So bring your neighbors, your congregation, your children, everyone with you, and take advantage of Chicago's summers in order to build connections that with your community that maybe you wouldn't have had the opportunity to build beforehand. And maybe those connections can continue through until the next walk next summer as well.